Yeah. So Carrie, I found you after listening to your book, Listen Like a Horse. And oh, I listened to it twice in a row because I was so captivated. And it just kind of took me into a portal of just it just opened a lot for me. And I was struggling with my relationship with one of my horses, Levi, at the time. And I worked with you a little bit and came to a couple of your monthly community calls. And you've totally shifted my relationship with Levi and all my horses, and also just really opened a question for me of, wow, what would it be like to be with these animals and these humans that I love so much, and with myself, without force, and really to be with all of life, with love, and to trust in that heart path.
That makes me
Um,
so happy.
it is a beautiful question, and so I continue to understand what that means, and to find more and more awareness around um, the fear of that arises in living my life through my heart. And so, yeah, so I reached out to you to see if you would come to the Midwest, come to Michigan, and you said yes. And yeah, I'm just thrilled to have you here, and just to be with you and the horses and on the land. Um, and yeah, I know that a lot of people here are excited and have some questions. The biggest one possibly being, what are we going to do in the 2.5 days of Courage to Feel?
First, thank you so much. It's kind of impossible to describe what an honor it is that that book touches people the way that it does. Um, the journey of writing the book was like I couldn't run away from it anymore. Very, very literally, I was snowed in a cabin in the mountains, and I hadn't been to town for 5 days. And like I went to bed one night, thinking, okay, I'll get to town in the morning. The roads will be dry, and I'll get to go to the grocery store, which I just want to get to grocery store. And I woke up the next morning to 2 feet of fresh snow and shook. I'm like shaking my fist at God. What do you want from me? And literally, as clear as your voice, I heard, sit down and write. And so I did. And I wanted to create something that would be timeless, something that would speak to people beyond horse training, and something that you could potentially open to any page of the book and find a bit of wisdom on there. So it is an absolute joy and an honor that people um, find something valuable from that book. So thank you. Um, yeah, the $1 million question is what are we going to do? um, the 3.5 day event unfolds like a running conversation. We start on the first half day with introductions because I honestly don't know what we're going to do until I meet the people who show up. Every event that we do, I ask in the introductions to hear what people are curious about and hear what inspires them. There's nothing I share that's meant to tell people, you know, you should be this. There, everything is designed to help people recognize who they are, where they are on their journey, and based on where they would take themselves to offer clarity, guidance, tools, experiences that help people empower themselves to take whatever their own next steps are to maybe that's a big next step, like learning a new way to facilitate their clients. For other people, it's going to be the tiniest step of courageously looking at something very scary that they don't want to be afraid of anymore. There isn't just one way for people to, I don't know, transcend, to grow. But the more you orient toward your own heart, you can find your own way. That's really the crux of what we share. It's profoundly simple. How many ways can we help the mind work in service to the heart? Because from there, you become available to your own wisdom, your own clarity. And we do that in the presence of horses. Well, because horses, I mean, come on. But also the presence of horses offers humans an amplification of feeling our own heart. It helps us. It literally amplifies the energy and presence of our own pure beingness, and makes our pure beingness easier for the mind to find as a thing, rather than conceptualize, oh, I'm a spirit, I have a heart, this is how it should function. And the mind and the ego mimicking a heart. We actually help the mind find where the heart is communicating, through feel, through sense, through awareness, through intuitive clarity. And once the mind knows where to find that data reliably, it usually quiets itself right down and looks for opportunities to create that space more and more and more.
I'm excited. I love that you keep it so open, actually, to what shows up and who shows up. Um, I'd love it if you'd share a bit about, in your experience, what people who've done Courage to Feel get out of the course in terms of how it affects their daily life. Um, yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. Um, almost invariably, the feedback from participants, whether it's in-person participants or online, a lot of, almost invariably, people reflect back to me that what they use most is the most simple, basic tool that we share, which is called Mind Watch the Body. It's a tool that you can play with wherever you are, if you're home in quiet space, if you're with the horses, but also if you're with clients, if you're standing in line at the post office, if you're sitting in traffic, if you're cleaning litter boxes, having experience feeling simple, feeling the it's a feeling when things get simplified, and you don't have to mentalize or overthink. It changes the way it feels in your body, and you start looking for the opportunity to experience simplicity, to experience clarity. So it's pretty universal feedback from participants that they take that feeling with them and invoke it, and it becomes easier and easier and simpler for them to evoke that presence within themselves in any context. I often will say to people, like, if that is the only thing you take and the only thing you ever play with is organize, I call it organizing your awareness to generate that presence in yourself, then you've just put yourself on the fast track toward clarity, integration, wellness, healing, right? Once you have that capacity to generate that beautiful, clear space of simplicity and ease within your own cells, from there, your uniqueness can come in and say, huh, well, let's bring that into my tennis match. Let's bring that into my conversation with my family. Let's bring that into the way I work with my clients. Let's bring that into the way I ride my horse. Let's bring that into how I see myself when I look in the mirror. That's actually a really powerful game to play. I started doing that actually when I was like 9 years old. I cried a lot when I was a kid because there was so much I didn't understand, and everything felt overwhelmingly confusing and sad or angry. And I wasn't angry. I didn't know why I was feeling all of this and wanting to cry when I knew I wasn't angry with something. So I spent a lot of time actually in the bathroom, um, in the mirror crying. But what I would do is see the anguished person in the mirror and just feel love for that person who was feeling so anguished. And through my own eyes, I would share love and see love reflected back in the mirror. And it helped me recognize when the face, like just by in that place of it's okay to cry. That's what that love was offering to the person in the mirror, that sweet 9-year-old in the mirror. You know, it's okay to cry. And in that love, I could feel that love for that 9-year-old. And then my eyes and my mental processor watched that reflected back to me. And it just oriented my awareness to the feeling so that I could recognize when the crying was an angry cry, or the crying was a sad cry, or the crying was a lonely cry. That was actually monumental in the foundation of the clarity that I have to share, is having walked myself through what I could now call a courageous clarity to simply acknowledge what is, acknowledge the feels that do exist from a place where it's okay to feel. And you know that because you feel it. You feel okay and you feel all the things. And, with decades of experience, that has turned into tools to share with other people and hopefully help them empower themselves to be okay in their own presence, to be safe with themselves at least. Sometimes, well, a lot of the people that attend these events are therapists, practitioners, people who have a heart to assist others. But of course, we all know we've got to find what assistance feels like within ourselves, and to help these people be empowered to feel truly held beyond safe with themselves in their own body, in their own presence, in their own estimation, their own mental constructs, to know that right here is actually not only safe, but a flourishing place, because I know how to have my own back at those subtle levels. That, I mean, if I can assist people uh, into that journey and creating that for themselves, then everything I've been through is, you know, completely not justified. It's just that's the reason for going through all this stuff with such clarity and awareness, to share it with others.
Thank you, Carrie. I I will say that the exercise that you described, mind watch the body, has been a really powerful one for me. With both with the horses, but also, like you said, bringing it into other, keep playing with bringing it to other parts of my life. And yeah, it just occurs to me, just like what you're describing with you're looking into the mirror, seeing your 9-year-old self, it just offers that just a little bit of spaciousness for me
Mm.
at times, to open up to another option of how to respond. And yeah, it was, it's my horse Levi who first taught me that, thanks to the challenge that brought me to listen to your book. So
Mm. Mhm.
yeah, I'm
Yeah, the
excited.
horses are so great.
They
Like
are.
the difficult horses, right? Like if you're paying attention, it's the difficult ones that are saying, come on, there's another
There's
option.
another way.
Look for it, look for it, look for it, look, be open to it. And that's the other thing. Like, because horses always were that for me, I started asking them, like, how do I do it? How do I be a human with humans the way horses are with humans? You know, how do I be that loving and that gracious and that clear and that honest? That's the thing, when people come across a difficult horse or a difficult person, a lot of people in the training approach will start looking for how to fix the horse, how to make the horse better, how to teach the horse something new, how to get connection. They'll push the horse until the horse goes, what? you know but um to me, when horses are difficult or unruly, or like the idea of uh, the red mare, like the dreaded red mare, how when horses are marish, that somehow that means difficult.
Mhm.
To me, what they're doing is they are being honest. They refuse to compromise their world. They refuse to pretend to be something they're not. And in that way, what a gift if we're willing to receive that gift and just sit back for a moment and ask a new question. To ask a new question. And that question could be, I wonder what else is here. I wonder what else is going on here. I wonder how open I can be to see what's true here. And if we can ask that question, it asks us to have some experience with recognizing what's true. How do I know? Right? Which comes to the intuitive sense. It comes to a journey of discernment where we can acknowledge, when the egoic mental approach is looking for correct and right and justifiable and provable and defendable. That's one path. But looking to relate to what is true has nothing to do with correct or incorrect. It has everything to do with recognizing the absence of conflict within myself. Even if something is difficult, when something difficult bears a ring of truth, then I'm still going to feel like, okay, okay, here we go. There's an ease to it, right? But in order to recognize that ease, we have to stop pushing away the discomfort. We have to stop pushing away what I don't want and pretending, I'm fine, when the horses are like, no, you're not fine.
Yeah, they know.
So yeah, it's just these events are there's a lot of laughter in these events, because really there's nothing funnier than the truth. And once we realize that it might actually be okay, we might actually be okay, and it might actually be gentle to interact with the scary things because we know we're already on another trajectory. Just by this courage to look at it, the courage to feel, we already have ourselves in another trajectory. There already is another option presenting. And that's where we help each other. This is where the conversation held in the absence of judgment is so facilitative and nourishing, and just it's just okay. It's okay. It's okay. Everything's okay. And the more we explore that feeling, then yeah, the fears are going to come up and the conflicts are going to come up, but it's all right. here's some tools. Let's use some new tools. Let's use some new perspectives that nourish this relationship first, right? Having the mind be in service to the heart first opens all the doors. And it just takes a little bit of experience and sometimes some guidance to get used to what that feels like.
Yeah, one of my favorite things about you is just that you have such a beautiful gift in just inviting us into playing with it and not making it too serious
Yeah.
what we're doing here. So I love it.
Yeah, because laughter is it accomplishes a lot of the same things as crying, but it's a whole lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, it's true. It's incredible.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.